Sir, can you tell me how the madness made you feel in the days leading up to the incident?
True. Nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous I had been. And him. But why will you say that I am mad? Disease had sharpened my mind. Not destroyed. Not dulled it. Above all was the sense of hearing acute. I heard all the things in heaven, and in earth. I heard many things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken, observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story.
It is impossible to say how first idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. Object there was none. Passion there was none. I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. He had never given me insult. For his gold I had no desire. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. He had the eye of a vulture, a pale, blue eye with a film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. So by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man, and thus rid myself of the eye forever. Now this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing, but you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded, with what caution, with what foresight, with what dissimulation I went to work. Every night, about midnight for 8 nights, I turned the latch of his door and opened it, oh so gently, and then, when I had made an opening sufficient for my head, I thrust it in. I was slow, very slow, so I might not disturb the old man's sleep. Ha! Would a madman have been so wise as this? Upon the 8th night, I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. I undid it just so much that a single thin ray fell upon the vulture eye. Never before that night had I felt the extent of my own powers, of my sagacity. I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph. I crept into the door as he slept, oh so soundly in his bed, as the hellish tattoo of my heart increased, and now a new anxiety seized me. The sound would be heard by my neighbor. It grew louder, I say, louder every moment, and now, at the dead hour of the night, and the dreadful silence of the old house, so strange a noise as this excited me to uncontrollable terror. The old man's hour had come. I grabbed an old cloth from his bedside chair and strangled him with it. I was in terror to find the deed so far done. Do you mark me well when I have told you that I am nervous? So I am, and for many minutes my heart beat on. At length it ceased, and I knew the old man to be dead. If you still think me mad, you will think so no longer when I describe the wise precautions I took for the concealment of the body. The night waned, and I worked hastily, but in silence. I wrapped the old man in his blanket and dragged him into the floor. Then took upon an old table from the corner of the chamber and deposited all beneath it. I then placed a tablecloth atop the table, so cleverly, so cunningly, that no human eye, no, not even his eye, could have detected anything wrong. When I had made an end of these labors, it was 4 o'clock, still dark as midnight. Then there came a knocking at the door. I went down to open it, for light heart, for what did I to fear now? There entered 2 men who had introduced themselves as officers of the police. A sound had been heard by a neighbor during the night. Suspicion of foul play had been aroused, and they had been deputed to search the Parma. I smiled, for what had I to fear? I bade the gentleman welcome. The sound, I said, was my own in the dream. The old man I mentioned was absent in the country. Bade them search. Search well. In the enthusiasm of my confidence, I told them to sit around the table and desired them here to rest from their fatigues, while I, myself, in the wild audacity of my perfect triumph, placed my own seat upon the very spot beneath which reposed the corpse. They sat, and while I answered cheerily, we chatted of familiar things. But long, I felt myself getting pale. Wish them gone. Oh, my head ached. I fancied a ringing in my ears. Still, they sat and still chatted. The ringing became more distinct. It continued and became more distinct. I talked more freely to get rid of the feelings. But it continued, and it gained definiteness, till at length I found that the noise was not within my ears. No doubt I now grew very pale, but I talked more fluently, with a heightened voice, yet the sound increased, and what could I do? It's low, though. It's the sound as a watch. I gasped for breath, yet the officers heard it not. Talked more quickly, more vehemently. The noise steadily increased. I argued about trifles in a high key with violent gesticulation. But the noise steadily increased. Why would they not be gone? I grated my fingers on the table as if excited to fury by the observations of the men. But the noise steadily increased. Oh God! What could I do? I foamed. I raved. I swore. But the noise arose over all and continually increased, grew louder, louder. Still, the men chatted pleasantly and smiled. Was it possible they heard not? Almighty God. No. They heard. They suspected. They knew. Oh, they were making a mockery of my word. Yes, I thought. Yes, I know. Anything was better than this agony. Anything was more tolerable than this derision. I could bear these hypocritical smiles no longer. I felt that I must scream or die. And now again, hark, louder!
Villains, assemble no more! I admit the deed! Here! It is the beating of his hideous heart!
Thank you, sir. That's all we'll be needing from you today.